Steve Moran here, and today I'm talking with Holly Reebok with Caring.com, and we are going to be talking about the post-holiday lead explosion that happens every year, and frankly, it could be bigger this year than ever. But first, Holly, tell us a little bit about who you are and Caring.com and all that kind of stuff.
Great. Thanks, Steve. So happy to be here. So yes, I'm Holly Reebok. I'm the National Director of Sales for Senior Living at Caring.com. And what my team does is partners with awesome senior living communities. And our partnership includes an enhanced listing on Caring.com. So that's where you showcase and show off your community. And it also includes support for your online reputation. Many are familiar with our wonderful reviews program. So as a partner, you get even more support there. And then, of course, our pre-qualified leads. So our family advisors send our partners pre-qualified leads. Wonderful team of family advisors that talk to families and seniors and pre-qualify based on budget, location, and care needs, of course. And then finally, a partnership also includes support to turn those leads into new residents.
Oh, I think that's always the best part.
That's
is how
the
do you
best
turn
part.
those leads into new residents?
Exactly.
So let's talk a little bit. First, the first question I guess I have to ask you is this post-holiday lead explosion a real thing or is it a myth?
I can say from firsthand experience, it is true. I love being on this side of the community and on Caring and with Caring. However, I have been in the senior living industry for over 20 years in a community as sales and marketing director, as a sales counselor, and even as a regional. So I can speak firsthand that it is a true thing.
Okay, and why does it happen?
Well, it truly is because families are spending more time with their senior loved ones during the holidays. So they're noticing changes. They're noticing physical changes in mom or dad or Aunt Betty that they may not notice during the year. So they're going to home for the holidays and seeing mom isn't getting around as great as she used to. And that's alarming. And it's not only physical, it can be emotional too. If mom's alone most of the time and you're visiting her and you're noticing maybe she's a little depressed, she's lonely, she needs someone to visit more often, or cognitively, dad's leaving the stove on, dad shouldn't be driving. Those are things that are noticed during the holiday season.
So let's just talk for a minute a little bit about what typically happens. So they go home, family members go home for the holidays, and they go, oh my God, mom is not doing well. Dad is really struggling. What do we do about it? So how does the process start?
Great question. What we find is that they don't know what to do. They haven't thought about this. They don't want to think about this. They don't even want to think of it until it's right in front of them. And so what most people do is go to Google and start Googling senior care. Very generic terms is what we find they're putting in their search. They don't even know where to look. And so places like Caring.com, we're here to help with that search. But that's normally the first step, is really just a very basic search online. Families are busy. They don't have time to go out and just start driving around from community and guessing. They want to find all their facts and information in one spot. That's where we find that they start.
And that sort of comes back to, I want to give just a little bit of plug for the review site and the reviews that you have, because it's one of the areas that frankly drives me crazy, as I know it does you guys, that people don't take bigger advantage, since we know that having lots of reviews and good reviews really, really helps in that lead generation process.
Oh, 100%. And our review program is amazing. And I would say if you haven't looked at your community's reviews on Caring.com, run and do that now. See what they are. And even if you have stellar reviews, if there's reviews on there that may not be as stellar, respond to those reviews. People want to see a response. They're not just looking for a 5-star rating. They're looking to see how communities are interacting with those reviews.
Yeah. And I would say from a consumer perspective, also make sure you've got up-to-date reviews. If you've got a review from 2020 or 2019, really even 2021, even if it's great numbers, people are going to discount that because there's nothing current. So what else besides working on reviews should I be doing in my community to get ready for this lead explosion?
Great question. So just from my experience is having a plan, right? You want to have a backup plan in place. Executive directors, senior living marketing directors can't always be there 24/7. And the worst thing as a sales director hearing is, well, yeah, someone walked in, I didn't get their name, but they were really interested. Well, those people already went to another community. So have a backup plan in place. One of the things that I used to do, I'd have a team. I didn't call my backup team. They were my star team. And that star team knew how to give an amazing tour. I would take them on a tour and act like I was a guest. We would role play and they would give fabulous tours like they were part of the sales team. So have those people in place that you can trust that will be able to welcome a senior into your community and show it off. And of course, even on the phone, people normally call first. Normally, a lot of walk-ins during the holidays, but they normally call first. So make sure whoever's answering your phone has basic knowledge and can take a great message to tell you who called and when you'll be returning the call.
So I want to actually talk a little bit about this walk-in thing a little bit. I haven't done it so much for a long time, but there was a period of time where I just walk into communities and ask for a tour. And it was always shocking to me how awkward that was. And the consistent message was that I'm not supposed to do it that way.
Well, what I would always tell my teams is expect that. People are busy. If they're out driving around and they want to stop in, we should be ready anytime. And that's where it kind of goes back to that having that backup team and training your staff. Because if you haven't talked to them about it, you know, the rest of the staff, they're a little bit afraid of sales. Oh, we don't know the pricing. We don't know this. Well, they know the community just as, you know, if not more than the sales team. So get them involved and have the community ready for those walk-ins, because honestly, if I was searching, I would do an impromptu visit to a community just to see how it goes. So you want to always be ready to put your community in the best light.
Yeah, and I mean, people live these chaotic lives, right? And so I'm going off to an appointment and I've got an extra 30 minutes and I think, man, I'm going to go look at that place. And it can make all the difference in the world. I mean, it's this classic first impression.
Exactly.
Other things that people should be doing besides that? Anything else?
Definitely. Another thing would be, you know, dig into your lead bank. I always say, of course, we want new leads. Of course, we want to help new families, but there are families that Karen may have sent you months ago that are sitting in your CRM. Dig into that gold. They're in there. See how they're doing. You know, Mrs. Smith's alone on the holidays. Invite her in for some gingerbread house decorating. Just really dig in there and be intentional with your follow-ups. The other thing, speaking of the background or the backup plan, is having a virtual tour ready. So families are busy during the holidays. Maybe they can't get in, but you can say, okay, let me take you on that virtual tour. We learned that through COVID, but it can definitely be useful anytime.
Yeah. So I get somebody in, I take them on a tour. There seems to be some mentors, but one of the challenges I'm facing is oftentimes they're in town from out of town and they've got to go back and maybe they've got this time compression. Do you have any thoughts about how to deal with that?
Just consistent follow-up. When they're going back, what they're going to be top of mind worried about their loved one. So you want to make sure, you know, okay, well, maybe if you're not ready to make the decision now, could we do a respite stay? Oh, that was huge. A couple communities I was at, we would call it a staycation. So over the holiday season, maybe the family won't actually be there during the actual holidays, but we could do a staycation at our community and help mom get acclimated to us. So that's a really good tip to keep in mind.
Cool. So, are there other things that we should be talking about this lead explosion today?
Well, really, who doesn't want a lead explosion? Because that means we're going to help more residents. And I just think being prepared, like we talked about, having that backup in place and not letting any lead, slip through the cracks. And definitely start digging into your CRM and to see who's been looking. Sometimes it takes months, we all know that. And sometimes actually it can take a year or more, especially independent. So really digging into your database as well.
Well, that's the thing I was thinking about is that particularly if you have leads from last year's
Yeah.
lead explosion where they haven't moved in, this might be the time to send a little email that says, "How's mom doing this year?" to just sort of prime the thinking that maybe a year ago it wasn't time for mom or dad, but this year is the time.
Exactly. And having those intentional follow-ups where you can say, I know you were looking and we're going to have this great holiday open house and I'd love to see mom or dad there. Tons of events go on, wonderful events in communities through the holiday season. Have those leads come and have those seniors experience what the communities are doing.
Perfect. Holly, this is such great stuff. I really, really appreciate it. Appreciate being able to work with carrying.com. I really appreciate how much Carrying invests in making the lives of residents and of people who are living and working in senior living better. So
Great. Thank
great,
you.
great tips.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you too.